again, like for me, I literally, for the program of DMC, there's no way to lead it if I was expecting to get things out of it. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I'll be up at 6 a.m.
Oh, you hate on me? Copy that. Oh, you don't like me? Copy that. I got your attention. Copy that. Not to mention, copy that.
Since I was 6, I've been the sickest, but they must have forgot. Ain't finna tell you how I'm coming, won't you sit back and watch? This for the ones who always talking, tryna play on my talk. I already had that nigga that you rebounding got. I'm from that wreck, I ain't with all of that. The shots I'm calling it.
Boop, boop, boop. Hello, spiritual sirens. We're back again with another episode. You know, it's your girl Faith and our special guest Ella per usual. And today we have
Thomas Chatman. I'm here. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm currently a senior at VCU studying information systems. I currently am the president of Developing Men of Color organization.
Quick moment before he finishes. Please follow all his socials. It will be linked in the description below.
CEO of a business in which I host art galleries. We do clothing, photography, videography, magazines, and I will be working with Dell Technologies in the IT department soon come.
Right. I actually met Thomas at an event that he composed.
Yeah.
Please tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So Faith and I did meet at the Gallery Art Showcase, and which is an event in which I curated along with my partner Kendall Bell. Took a trip over to Senegal, West Africa, and I saw a lot of things in terms of the struggle. There's a lot of impoverished individuals in which were still mad talented, extremely talented.
Right.
And so what I wanted to do for them was come back to the States, help them sell their artwork. And so the event that we met at was the second annual one. So it was an extremely
Annual. Be there next year.
Exactly. Yes, I'll drop the date very soon. But yeah, that was a gallery art showcase event.
Right.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about the trip and how you first met everyone that you met there and how the whole experience was.
Yeah. So the trip to Senegal, very, very, very crazy. And it was through my aunt. Her name is Aisha Bullard. She owns a business in Richmond. And so she had been following me for a while on Instagram. This is my mother's soror, so, it was connected through that. And so she had been following me and kind of seeing what I've been doing with business. Right. And so eventually she had just DM'd me and said, hey, do you want to come to Senegal, West Africa?
Yeah.
Here are, some dates you can come by. Right. Here are the, tickets and everything like that. And she was like, you should come by, do some photography, videography, kind of just get a feel for the culture.
Right.
And I'm like, how do you say no to, hey, I can't say no to an opportunity like that. So I asked her, I was like, can I bring my friend Jakeem, who, I started business with.
Right.
I asked him if he could come along, and she was like, no problem, got us both tickets to Senegal.
Look at that.
No, it was a little crazy, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
It was a little crazy. So that's how it all started, and then, got to Senegal, and it was just crazy.
Right. So when you first got there, how was it? Was it a bit of a culture shock compared to, the States?
Absolutely. First and foremost, we had to learn part of the language once we got there.
Right.
We had to be able to speak some sort of wall off in order to, get bypass some of the gates. And then once we literally got there, as you can imagine, it doesn't look anything like Richmond, obviously, or anything in the States. It was, it was definitely a culture shock. It wasn't, it was kind of what I expected. It wasn't, but I mean, it's not all, it's not all bad, it's not all terrible. But yeah, it's definitely a culture shock for sure. Something I think that a lot of us, probably should experience at some point. So yeah, big culture shock for sure.
Since you are big on community, what were the biggest differences that you see, maybe as far as how the community is, at your own school compared to how you saw it there?
Yeah, so a big thing when it comes to community for me, this shifted my ideology on community in general.
Right.
And for, there's a lot of reasons in which it dwindles down to, but in, Senegal, the primary religion is Islam, and so that played a huge factor into the community that they have there.
Right.
Everyone greets each other, and with in Arabic.
Like
It's all like that, and so the sense of community. I mean, it's so together. It's so close knit. Like, even if you see someone that you don't even know, the greetings are like you're greeting each other for at least a minute to 2 minutes.
Talking about your day. Just,
How are hey, how are you? How's family? How's everything? Like they just they just go.
Right.
And so that to me, that was beautiful for me. And one thing I try to do back in Richmond is build community. With the Developing Men of Color organization, that is mainly to build community on VCU's campus among the men of color. And even I try to network with and help out with there's a leadership women of color. I try to help them out as well, just collaborate. To build that platform. Just at minimum, create a space for us to kind of feel that sense of belonging. You know what I mean? Have people to look to our left and our right and see we can take that mask off and kind of just be us around us. Sure. So at minimum,
that. The reason why I asked that is because, as I told you, I'm originally from West Africa. I grew up in the African culture.
Absolutely.
And I really, even though there are a lot of things, good and bad with everyone.
Absolutely,
I really, really value the sense of culture, the sense of community, rather, because everyone feels like they belong. You know what I'm saying? And that's my biggest goal with my podcast, as I'm sure it is with your the program that you head. Because I really feel like what we miss the most nowadays, especially in the States, is community. Because we are conditioned to have this every man for themselves mindset.
Oh my gosh.
And it's really horrible, because it's like we can build so much more together and so much more quickly if we would just take a second and just build together instead of thinking oh, I have this, I have to protect this with my whole life, and if someone else comes and try and take it, then boom, boom, boom.
Almost sometimes too.
It doesn't have to be like that, because humans, we're meant to learn from one another.
Absolutely.
That's the best way to grow, through experience. And why not experience through other people before you have to? So, you have the tips and the tricks to get through it faster instead of it, prolonging your process or hindering you. You know what I'm saying?
And it takes some humbling, I will say,
for sure,
too, because, it's not even in a situation where we're telling individuals, or even me, I'm telling individuals like, hey, you can't do it by yourself. You can't make it by yourself. Like, I think a lot of people, especially in the organization that I run, are more than capable of doing things by themselves. Like, they're more than capable of achieving and doing things. But for me, it's like you don't have to. You know what I mean? Make it easier on yourself. There's other people that are willing to. Literally willing to just help. Assist you, get you along the way. And even though, like, again, me, I'm very confident in myself and my abilities. Right. But it's a lot easier, to have someone who can, also assist you, because I'm willing to help out as well.
Of course.
So and that is just gonna make
I'm helping
you. I'm helping you. You helping me. I'm helping you. Yeah, let you know.
Exactly.
It's all help. So absolutely, that's and again, that's just how it is. Building that community. But it also it depends on where we've come from. There's ideologies that have been kind of beaten into some of our brains on how we need to operate. Like you have to do this, you have to go at it alone, you're the only one out there. Like it's a lot of things that our brains are wired to think.
Right.
So I was there too. I was like, when I first got to VCU, I'm thinking, I was in a place where I was like, I need to figure this out myself. I felt like I was alone. There was nothing. There was no one else that thought like me. You know what I mean? So I thought the same way too. But it's a matter of just having eye-opening experiences and meeting the right people to show you that that's not the case. Yeah,
because I feel like a lot of times, especially when we let our pride get in the way, because of that's what you see all day, every day. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So of course, once you get accustomed to it, you're gonna just repeat that behavior. But I feel like a lot of times we think that help is only gonna come in the form of a handout. And when you think of a handout, you think of this person, right? But help can just come in the form of compassion sometimes.
Exactly.
And come in the form of good advice.
Exactly.
And I believe that heavily, because I feel like a lot of times, like I think we talked a little bit when you're telling me about your pieces.
I think
absolutely. The chess piece you were saying that a lot of times we're the only
ones in the way.
Exactly. So it's like once you get out of your own way, it's so much easier to see. Like all the resources are right in front of you.
They're right there.
And I believe heavily that blessings also come in the form of people.
I promise you,
You know what I'm saying? And that's what a lot of times we get a little confused because we look at things as a handout, but really that person in itself, like their essence could just be a blessing.
Yeah.
Because you never know, like, what certain people have learned along their journey and the power that they've accumulated along that journey that can also help you just by being around and just understanding. You know what I'm saying? So I really love that. That's how you center, you know, your community projects because that's how it should be. You know what I'm saying? Just spread love to get love. Yeah. And not in a transactional way, just like, you know, when you're a blessing, you have to expect blessings to come to you because then you're helping other people. So why wouldn't you have the resources to continue helping those people?
And I won't lie, it does. That is how I've seen it work, and not that that's like it's anything scientific down to it. It's just what I've seen is, you know, a lot of people that are willing to help and that are always, you know, looking to, you know, give a helping hand. Generally, things are just, you know, it works out in their favor as well. You know, people are more willing to help out them. Great things are happening, and again, it wouldn't work the same if you're doing things expecting it. If you're expecting a transaction in those situations, it's again, like for me, I literally, for the program of DMC, there's no way to lead it if I was expecting to get things out of it. You know what I mean? Exactly. I'll be up at 6 a.m. Going to sleep at crazy hours in order to put together programs so that I can help the people coming before me. You know what I mean? This is what I'm passionate about. I'm not doing it expecting to get anything out. It's just what I love to do and what I, you know, for me, I don't want individuals to kind of go through what I went through. I want people to have a better, easier pathway than me. So that's why I'm doing it. And in doing it, it's, you know, help flourish, you know, into a lot of other things for myself. So it's like I'm in debt to giving back and kind of helping build community for others.
Right. So. I definitely understand that because, you know, y'all know a little bit about my story. I be telling y'all all the time, telling y'all all about the tea about my life. But, you know, I really genuinely believe that all of my experiences have allowed me the space to be able to connect with people from all walks of life. Absolutely. Because you never know who you're meeting the next day. You know what I'm saying? You never know how a simple smile or a simple, nice, kind word or even a simple word of advice that not necessarily is coming from you but coming from your experience can completely impact and change a person's life. Yeah. And I feel like we should really learn how to focus more on, you know, like valuing our own experiences because it's hard to want to share that when you don't value it because then it just comes as like, it seems more of like not a chore necessarily, but it seems more of like a burden than the gift that actually is. I feel like a lot of times when we go through turmoil and we go through difficult situations, we start to look at it as, why am I going through this? Like, I don't deserve it. Instead of, I'm going through this to learn something to then be able to either help myself in the future or help somebody else. So, going off that, what made you start your clothing business?
Yeah, so again, exactly like what you were saying, I had went through a good amount, and I never really realized, you know, how it affected me or how it transitioned into what I had transitioned into. So, in high school, I was huge into sports. I mean, I was, you know, that's when you said it. I was like, hey, you know, that was me. I was there. Yeah, absolutely. So I tell you, it was every season I was playing. I mean, I was all state for all conference, anything for soccer, basketball, lacrosse, anything that I was playing. And so when I got to my senior year, and I was in a school in which they did, you know, sports is not something that's like promoted as well. Like it's more or less a situation where I was at a predominantly white high school, and so most of the people of color there are there for sports. You know, we're playing sports, and there's no one there to help us excel to get to college, especially for the sport I was doing. But it's more just so we have a team and people are coming out and engaging in the sports. You know, I mean? There's no one actually there like, hey, can I, help you build something afterwards? So when I got to my senior year was when I finally met someone who was like, hey, you need to start reaching out to colleges and, making your name. And so for me, it ended up being too late. I was, my last straw was going to VCU, training for a few days to see if I could make a team. And then after that, it was cut. I didn't have anything at that point. If all I know is sports,
it's hard to transition.
It's hard to transition to what? The only thing I've ever seen successful is you either go sports. I've seen maybe you rap or something, and you make your path that way. I've never seen another man of color that I would deem cool with a computer bag, you know what I mean? You know, doing an art gallery or anything like that.
Right.
So lucky for me, because I do think a lot of people fall victim to negative methods of, you know, coping when it comes to losing something that you love.
Right.
I had picked up clothing. You know, I was like, the same competitive spirit I had for playing sports. My freshman year, 3 of my good friends, I think it was right before COVID hit, you know, we were like, hey, we should come up with this idea to make clothes. And so we, you know, went in my friend's garage, and, you know, whether it was hot, cold, there was no AC in there. I mean, we were sitting there going to Michael's.
Right.
I had asked one Christmas, I had asked for like a heat press machine. My friend did his mom's homework so that he could get a screen print.
Right.
We're putting letters on clothes, and I mean, we're hand sewing stuff with no thumbnail. Yeah, we were just, you know, and they're just making stuff because, again, we needed something, you know what I mean? Because we all had, you know, similar stories. We had something we loved, got to a point we didn't have it. So that's kind of, you know, that was the foundation. You know, we just went in the garage and, you know, not going to school for business, not going to, you know, looking up too many videos, not seeing anyone else do what was being done. Right. We literally, you know, sat in there and were just like, hey, let's just make some clothes. So
that's beautiful though.
Yeah.
I can definitely relate to that because, you know, as I told you, I play basketball. And it's like I was playing basketball from like 3rd grade.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know I do.
And another part of that is like, obviously being from an immigrant family, there were certain expectations on me. Yeah. Especially because my parents were high achieving people. My dad went and got his bachelor's, his master's, 2 masters. And my mom went to school for her bachelor's and stuff like that. So it's like, them, they already accumulated that student debt. So they weren't going to try to go through that with me. So obviously they're going to put me in sports to make sure I could really be able to take care of my own once, you know, I was able to leave. And so it was really hard, you know, transitioning from that to my hair business because now I'm going against everything that they've invested in for
they're like,
years.
College works, you do this, you do that.
Right.
So making a business is...
Right. It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah, what are you doing? That's
right.
I've never seen that before.
Exactly. So it's like, I definitely went through a lot of turmoil with them. There were points where like I literally had all my shit in my car, guys. Y'all know a little bit about this. You know what I'm saying? Like I had all my stuff in my car, traveling to clients, still working. Yeah. So it's like, I really, really built it from the ground out of passion. Absolutely. And like, it was like, when you are at that point where you have nothing else, it's like, you got to get it done.
Yeah, you have to.
And it's like, you don't have to be at that point to really achieve your dreams, but when you have that background, it makes everything else seem like you can fail at any given moment. Yeah. So what's the point of fearing failure? You know what I'm saying? So it's like from there, you just have to keep going. Yeah, things will happen, but you have to keep going. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So even when it came to like negative perspectives, dealing with other people, like, why are you doing this when you could have a simple life? You could just go about with what, you know, your parents are telling you, and you would have no issues. Yeah. But it's just like, when you know something's not for you, you can't continue.
Oh no, you can't.
Go with it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You can't. It's like I don't know. Me personally, looking at how my life could be, I was just like, knowing that I would still be unfulfilled is what was the main driving point for me.
Now you know, what you have too is very special because I think, and I know there's a lot of people that also are very unfulfilled in what they're doing, but they're not willing to do anything about it. They're too complacent. So sometimes you need to see that failure. You need to, you know, have your back against the wall. To really, you know, in order to do it. But again, at the same time, some people are just wired a little bit differently, you know, because I like I said, I know, again, I've worked plenty of, you know, this is the reason I do business. I assume similar. You want to, you know, I want to work for myself. You know, I don't like the structure of someone else always telling me, you know, this, that, and the third to do something. So, but I do, again, when working in a lot of positions that I was working in, I'm sitting there asking myself, like, I'm like, me personally, I don't know. I know you guys aren't fulfilled in here. I know there's a lot of unfulfillment. I know you have dreams, aspirations to do something. Yeah, it's a fear. Yeah.
Like fear of what would happen.
Exactly. And me, your person, I didn't see failure. You know what I mean? I thought I was a failure at some point. So I'm like, man, I don't care what it is. I know I can't do this. I know I have to do something. But it is a, you know, I've kind of had to chalk it up as, you know, I I don't know if it's a world that is like it needs balance. Like there's just, you know, it has to, everyone can't be a certain way. Because I do question them, like, if you're unfulfilled in this manner, come on, you know what I mean? Like, you know, come on.
I think also because going back to community, not having that support system is another big thing. Because, you know, a lot of people, when you're doing what, you know, is quote unquote the right way, then people are going to support you. They're like, oh, keep going. Especially like when you're in school and stuff like that. And I don't knock corporate field or anything, because I've worked in corporate sales. I've worked in every position possible. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, you can still have fulfillment outside of your regular 9 to 5.
Absolutely.
That's my biggest thing. Like, you can, my biggest thing in this life is fulfillment, and allowing people to understand that you don't have to go about with everything you see to get to that result, because everybody else has that result because of the path that they chose. Your path is going to look different from someone else's, so should your result. Why should we think that it should be any different? But it's like, when you get to that point where you're like, that fear, once again, that fear of not having people to support you, or when I'm low, like, who's gonna put the money back in my pocket to replace the money I'm putting out?
It's gonna be no, you know, it's gonna be no support. You know
what I'm saying?
It's gonna be your money.
Really, your money.
It's no one, again, especially coming from the background you said, like, if you know, you can't even blame other people if they only know one thing. If they know school, job. And, you know,
of course, what you're doing is gonna look wrong. That's why I don't get mad. Cause I'm just like, I get it. It's all a perspective thing. You know what I'm saying? It's really all a perspective thing. But it's like, you can change your perspective.
Absolutely.
That's what people forget. You can change.
I'm trying to say that. I try to say it.
Right. You can grow your perspective just like everything else in your life grows. So why do we feel like we should only understand things from one point of view when there are so many different perspectives in this world? You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Yeah, but thank you so much for coming on today.
Of course.
I'm
I love
so grateful.
that was.
I'm happy that you were here, you know, share a little bit about yourself. And, you
know,
know, please check him out. I'm going to be getting all the details, so y'all can find in the description. Follow him on social media, and come out and support, you know, everything that he's doing. Minute Color, you already know where to go. We've been talking about it the whole episode. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
But yeah, y'all, just this week, focus on broadening your perspective. Even if you don't want to change anything right away, maybe just look into other things that you see other people doing, but look at it from a different point of view. Not to get their result, but maybe just to learn a little bit more about their path and their journey, and see if there's anything you can learn from that. But y'all stay blessed. Have a great day. Hey, beautiful sirens. I just want to pop in and let y'all know your girl is back and better than ever. Please tap in. We have new price flyers, new styles per usual, wash, blow dry, and hair included.